opening statement, Coach Schertz, and then questions.
Start by apologizing to the fans. They were awesome tonight. Our student section crowd was amazing. I should have challenged that goaltend on Jaden. That was a Shake Shack goaltend, and it was goaltending, so I cost my son 2 points and the fans burgers, so that's 100% on me. To make it up, I'll let Stu buy everybody that was here tonight burgers at Shake Shack, so Stu will take care of that for the fans. So go to Shake Shack, tell them Stu Durando sent you. Good, really good performance, I thought. I told the team, first half, I thought, our defense was terrific, thought our compete level was great. A little bit, had some ebbs and flows with turnovers, but nothing, crazy. Guys trying to make plays. I thought our defensive effort was awesome. I thought we compete on the glass. Got up 9 at halftime. Had a really bad start to the second half. 7-0 run. I had to call a timeout to get a sub. We talked about my subscript, and that gets torn up when I'm not happy. So I had to take, make substitution and kind of correct where we were going because it wasn't good to start the second half. So, but then I thought from there, the 18-15 mark to about the 6 minute mark, we went from up 2 to up 27. I thought that was about as good. That was the best 12 minutes of basketball we've played all year. That stretch from 2 to 27, down the stretch, I thought we got a little bit. I told the team there's a level of maturity. Up 27, where it's kind of not the same, but a little bit to Chicago State. Not as bad, but we just kind of got off. We turned it over, I think 3 times in a row. We fouled 3 times in a row. We kind of just. And then, we sub, and it's a tough situation for Cam and Jax to walk into. They've been sitting for, 35 minutes of game time and an hour, probably 30 minutes of real time, and come in and have to try to play and, trying to get guys minutes and experience. And so it winds up a 14-point game, but I thought our that 12 minutes was terrific. I thought the first half effort level was through the roof. And outside of that, minute 45, the start of the second half, from that point to the 6 minute mark was our best basketball of the season. And that shows the signs of what this team could be. Obviously, we got to now, capture that, come back to work Monday, build on that, and take that 12-minute stretch and extend it out. And obviously, I got to work on our zone offense because it stunk tonight.
What was the message in that timeout? You pointed at Quentin right away and yanked him out, but what did you tell the team? Because it worked well.
Q had 3 fouls. I started in the second half. I told the locker room, I'm going to start your second half. I said, but you got to guard. You can't be tentative. And, it was, I would say I haven't seen it before, but I did last year with Amari at St. Joe's, but he kept, he gave up 4 drives. And, he got driven 4 consecutive times in a minute 45, which is hard to do. We gave up layups. We gave up offensive rebounds. We came out, turned it over twice, had Amari travels where he has Robbie wide open. Rob makes a bad play, turns it over. So it tries to thread a needle pass when the throw behind the cutter was wide open. So 2 bonehead turnovers. And when things for us usually go bad, and games have ebbs and flows, you're not going to play at your best perpetually. It's not possible. You're going to have in games, there's just going to be ebbs and flows. That was a major ebb for us. I wanted to cut it off because I thought our defense, stunk. We got beat to 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in that possession. We were turning it over, and it's hey, the guys know, I'm going to be lenient with things, but you better guard, you better play hard, and you better play unselfishly. Those things I'm not lenient with that. If you don't defend, if any one of those 3 things, if you don't defend, if you're not, playing with maximum effort and you're not playing unselfishly, you're coming out of the game. Doesn't matter. You can throw the subscript in the trash. We're playing to win. And I'm going to play the guys who give us the best chance to win. And I just got on everybody because it wasn't just Q. It was a cumulative thing with the team of we came out and we were sleepwalking that first. I don't like to burn a timeout that early, but in that case, I felt like it was necessary.
Was that, I assume you'd say that was your best defensive game of the season. And, you made it tough on, I won't say his name, 31, and just,
Yeah.
they're shooting
Yeah.
Just generally.
Yeah, I thought our discipline scheme was awesome. Our physicality was awesome. Effort level, guys covered for each other. We were flying around. They really did a great job. Made it hard on. Brian Moore is so quick. We were able to get underneath all his screens and force him into force him in a lot of mid range. I don't have to look at the shot chart, but we forced him in a lot of tough shots, a lot of late clock possessions. I thought we did a pretty good job keeping out of transition. I mean, they were at the point we were up 27. I want to say they were maybe in the low 40s at that point.
They were 20,
And scoring they finished 28% from the field, but they were in the low 40s in point total at that point. I think So our defense. I thought our defense. We really with them. Our transition defense was great. Our defensive rebounding for the most part was pretty good. Even though they got there, it seemed like they got theirs like 2 or 3 different possessions, and they got a lot late. And then I thought. Ball screen defense was fantastic. Our on-ball point of attack, our shell was great. We really made it hard on them, and I thought that was by far our best defensive effort. Even though I think we've been pretty good defensively, in the first 4, with the exception of, actually to me we've been better defensively than offensively in the first 4 games, with the exception of a period of time against Chicago State. I would say our defense has outperformed our offense the first 4 games.
Did you know Dion can do a backflip?
I did not know Dion could do a backflip. Nothing surprised me with Dion. He could, there's probably nothing that kid can't do. Actually, on the court, he does things that I've never seen in terms of good and bad. Some of the things he does, he's, the rebound he had in traffic, the offensive rebound, defensive rebound in the second half where he went up and there was high pointed it with all the GCU bigs. That was such an athletic play. He plays so hard. He's so competitive. He's such an alpha. He's got such a big time motor. Cares about winning. He has 6 points tonight. He could care less. His defense was awesome. His rebounding was awesome. He was, to me, he was a guy. Trey Green too. I thought Trey Green's defense. He's not going to get a lot of credit because he had 7 points, but his floor game was fantastic tonight. Trey's floor game was really, really good for us. He was, led us in plus minus. He's been plus 53 the last 2 games. His defense, his floor game has been fantastic. Paul Otieno's defense, awesome. We had a lot of guys contribute. Obviously, Amari and Robbie are going to be easy, but there's a lot of guys up and down the roster. Kellen's defense, second half, he got rocked there. He got, his deflections, getting hands on balls, he was unbelievable for us in the second half defensively. KT was. He had struggled the first half some, but second half he was playing much better ball when all that went down.
Was he okay?
We'll see. He's going to be evaluated. He and Paul will both be evaluated. Paul tweaked his ankle on that dunk. When he landed on the guy's foot. So Paul dealing with that, and then KT. They'll probably check him and just make sure, whatever. He didn't come back in tonight, but we didn't need it. But they'll check him, I'm sure, make sure he doesn't have a concussion or anything.
Robbie said Dion came into the room after the game and did a backflip. So,
did he really?
You didn't even know that?
No, I'm not in there with those guys. I let them do whatever. I missed the big moment. Maybe I'll do a backflip if we, maybe we could do that. There we go. I got to get space for a round off into it. I can't just do it standing. I got to get a round off into a backflip.
Would you have guessed that Amari would be leading the team in scoring after 4 games? I know he's been really on the rise, but he's been so aggressive. He seems so confident now.
Yeah, I probably would not have predicted that, but I would have said I thought he had a chance to make as big a jump as anybody in our program from last year. He's so gifted, and he's, the light bulb's starting to come on in terms of figuring out I can attack, and they guarded him, with Nana. And then they were switching the 4 or 5 pick and roll. So we were, he's attacking Nana, he's attacking the big when we would put Robbie up there and they would switch it and then get 32 on him. I don't want to pronounce his name. Wilhelm, I guess. Wilhelm. But we were, he's attacking those bigs and he's hard to handle when he does that. And he's obviously, I thought early in the first half he settled on a couple, and I'm fine with some of the threes, but I don't want him just settling. We want him attacking and getting the ball to the rim, and then for himself or his teammates. And I wouldn't have predicted him leading us in scoring, but I 100% thought he would make a huge jump and have a chance to be a guy that was, easily a double-figure scorer this year. And he's his finishing package we've talked about is just incredible at the rim, right hand, left hand. I mean, floats. He's got. I've coached 28 years. I've never seen anybody that has, more ability to finish with both hands at the rim. The touch around the rim is as good as I've seen in 28 years. I've coached a lot of good players.
Left-handed scoop on the run that somehow spun it in.
Yeah.
It was.
You just see there's few guys that just have, the geometry and the touch to kind of figure out angles and get the ball there. And he's got such long arms. He can extend out. It makes it so hard to block. And he never really puts himself in a terrible position. He very rarely gets himself stuck. He very rarely gets his shot blocked. I thought we had some bad QB decisions the first half where we got our shot blocked. He very rarely puts himself in that position to get a shot block. And so, yeah, I love how aggressive he's being. I also thought his defense, he guarded Nana most of the night. He was fantastic defensively. To be a sophomore and to take on that kind of challenge defensively and then go get 20 points and, handle the ball as much as he's handled the ball. And, we're asking a lot of him and he's responded and he was able to give us, he played, 27 minutes tonight, which is great.
You talked about his confidence. It seemed like there was a bunch of times where he just brought the ball up court and I can take this the rest of the way. And just kept on going.
Yeah, no, they were going to guard him with a big and try to put the big back and basically, cushion him, which is kind of similar to how we guard him more. But the difference is, Amari can attack that and he can get the ball to the rim. And if you give him that much space, he can just take your slack, and he does that. You give Amari that much space, you're kind of at his mercy. And they just played him so far back. He was attacking, getting downhill. And if you look at most of his drives, but he can do it. He's really a hard matchup because you put a smaller guard on him. He's just going to bully the smaller guard. He's too fast if you put a big on him. He's too strong for the small guards. There's not a lot of answers. And as he gets more comfortable shooting the ball, there really won't be any answers.
Talk about the offense not being as good as the defense so far this season. It seemed like a lot of the offense tonight was kind of when you were able to play fast, get out in transition and run. Not a lot of half-court success, especially in the first half. Just what's kind of stopping the offense right now on the turnovers?
I think some of it's just guys being a little bit juiced up. They did a good job. I thought Grant Can did a good job. I felt like first half was a little bit turnovers. I think our half-court offense was okay. I thought. We didn't get the ball to the seams as much. We had a couple of drop passes. We had 38 in the first half, and I think, we shot the ball fairly well. I don't know what it would have been in the first half from three, but 6 for 14. So, I think it's just we just got to continue to work on this group being able to go from playing with unbelievable pace to them being able to hey, they stopped us. Now we got to get to, and we got to really go through the layers of our offense, which really in the half court, primarily we're going to play through Robbie, when the game, slows down and hopefully leverage his passing and those guys' movement and speed and try to manipulate the defense and move the defense. But ball's got to be in Rob's hands in the half court. And I think we just got to continue to find that. But transition is going to be this team's calling card. That's going to be this team's calling card is transition basketball and being able to get out and attack because we're so athletic in transition. We're so fast in transition. And, I don't know how many points we had tonight, 30, I guess, in transition. So, and last year's team was equally as slow. And everything came from the half court, right? Just a different team. So, last year's team, everything, we talked about that. We had to I would talk about last year, when I would tell you guys that we have to manufacture every advantage. And that's what I was meaning is every advantage came from, we had to, leverage Kalu or Robbie, get the splits, get Gibson's, gravity, hit the seams, play behind that. It was very hard because every possession you were having to manufacture an advantage. You have a lot of guys who could just go make a play. This year it's the opposite. And we've got to balance it a little bit of, hey, we got to be a cleaner, I think, zone offense, cleaner with our half-court offense certainly are two things with this week coming up between, we will have 4 practices before our next game. At least the first 2, we got to clean up our zone offense. We got to clean up our half-court execution and really get better in those 2 areas.
And going to the zone offense, a lot of movement on the perimeter, but there doesn't seem to be a ton of inside cutting that's opening things up. Is that part of that?
Yeah, we just got to, zones. I mean, you got to puncture the zone. I mean, so there was a couple of things. One, I sub Rob out, which is our best zone player, and he's a killer in the middle of the zone. Now, he threw the ball to the other team and also set illegal screens, so maybe, but I put guys in a tougher situation with him out there, took some of the other guards out, and that it kind of, their going zone coincided with me subbing there with like 6 minutes to go. So some of that's that. But zone offense is pretty simple. Like, you got to puncture the zone. You can do that through passing the ball to the high post, to the short corner. You got to drive the ball. We weren't aggressive enough on the perimeter, driving seams. I thought there was seams to drive. Now a lot of that, Cam's out there and he's just got out there. He's cold. Jax is out there playing. He's not played in that position before. So like, there's stuff we got to be better at. But I've got to do a better job of teaching the zone offense. We got to puncture it quicker and then move behind it. But everything with zone starts with puncture it, and then the cutting and all that stuff is opened up. But we didn't puncture it, I don't think, once the entire 6 minutes. So that was bad.
You're talking about Dion's motor, but still 15 rebounds for a guy that's 6'3", one of the shortest guys on the court seems like an exceptional.
Yeah, he's
28 years of coaching.
Yeah. He's. I mean, his effort level on the glass is just. He's a unique player. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's so unorthodox in every way. We've talked a lot about. He's never played. Like, he and Q are two guys. They you think about like their careers. They've never won. Like, they've never won. They've been on bad teams every year. Teams that have had well under 500 records. Q, I think, is 10-58 in his 2 years, and Dion's not much better. Both those guys, though, just care about winning. Like Dion is, and I put this Q too. Like, they are winners, and Dion is about as good a winner as I've coached. You can be. It just shows like, he doesn't really care about the statistical stuff. He's a great teammate. He pumps his guys up. He's an encourager. He's got a voice that, he's got a voice that even in the summer, like, he just walked in the door and he's, like I said, he's such an alpha. Guys listen to him. Like, he walks in, he says stuff like, and he almost like with a new team, like he's different than Robbie. Robbie's the ice and the coolness and the intelligence and all that. But Dion's a great mix with him because Dion's the fire, the competitive spirit. He's in the huddle when he's out. He's just yelling at guys, just yelling in general. He's always yelling, and he plays so incredibly hard. And it's I think he inspires his team. Like, he's a guy when you're around him, like, he just inspires you. Like, I think one of the best things to happen to Amari is Dion, because he sees like how hard Dion plays, and it's a great, like, oh man, the guy actually plays that hard all the time. Like, I need to, and Amari with that talent, if he does that, so Dion's incredible, and he's been a huge part of why we've been able to have the success we've had so far, and he'll be a huge piece going forward. It's why, we thought about, he's been kind of entrenched with Robbie as a starter because, we're just better when he's on the floor, and it's better defensively, it's better on the glass. He does weird stuff offensively, but he gets it done. He's efficient, and we're a better team with him.
Paul's best half of the year, 3 blocks, got hit the boards. Any changes there in the second half that allowed the game to just kind of play into his strengths? Paul's interesting because I think our guys are learning how to play with Paul, and one of the things that I think I may have talked about this, I don't remember if it was one of the media sessions, maybe it was Stu, but like, Paul is such a different big than like a Robbie, right? And so Paul's whole thing is like how fast, we can call like speed rolls. Robbie puts gravity spacing on his shooting spaces the team. Paul, because how fast he rolls and he's such a speed roller, that also is gravity, different type of gravity. Our guys are learning how to throw that lob and to read, and not just throw like a pass to him at his chest. Like Robbie, obviously you're not going to ever do that. Jax will be really unique because Jax can speed roll like Paul, but he can also pop like Robbie. So he'll have the ability to do both. But Paul can do one, Robbie the other. You saw tonight, like, I think they completed 3 lobs to him, 2 or 3 dunks, and then we missed a dunk. But you're starting to see them find him more with those speed rolls, with those lob passes. And now if the defense sucks in, now you're zipping out and you're getting wide open shots. So it's more of learning how to play with him offensively. Defensively, he's terrific. He's tough. He plays hard. He competes his brains out. Like, he always does that. But I just think as we get more comfortable with that lob, the read, understanding how to play with a speed rolling big,
that's going to be, you'll see his numbers grow because he's just going to get the ball. We're throwing the ball to him in places where it's harder for him to catch, on the floor, at his ankles. I mean, that pass Amari threw, had it gone through the 7 people between him and Paul, how would Paul even caught that? Had it made through the entire, there was so many people in the way of that pass, but even if it was a terrible pass. Dion throws one at his feet, and it's up, it's the vertical. And so we're just learning how to play with a guy like that. And that's just going to take repetition times. But you saw tonight, I think 3 completed lobs, maybe 2 were dunks, another one was a layup, and we had a 4th dunk that we missed. But that's going to be, as you see, he'll get more of those because of his ability to put that vertical pressure on the rim and our ability to read that and make the right play.
Amari said that pass was open and then it closed.
That pass was never open, and it was just closed. It was just closed, and like I said, that was no worse than a couple of Robbie had the crazy one there was a lot of crazy passes, but it's part of this team's deal, and I have to find the balance of hey, I got to let them play, and they're gonna do some things that are gonna really upset me, but if I take away too much of their freedom and their confidence, then you're getting them playing on their heels and tend to be restricted. And so it's a balance that I have to find with them, and they have to find with me too. They're working. We've got to certainly get better at it. I'm not just accepting the turnovers, but that pass was never there. We've had a lot of bad passes here. That'll be in the uglies on Monday for sure. That will be one of the. We may do an uglies slew edition passing, and just the lob Amari threw into the crowd the other day, against Lindenwood. There's a lot of good, but Dion's underhand pass from, there's a lot of material to pull from this year of just horrendous passes, bad thoughts, bad ideas, and bad execution. So we'll hopefully, again, it goes back to, we got to get back to work on Monday and clean a lot up, improve, and the goal is to be a much better team on the 21st. I think we will be. This group, super competitive, super ambitious. They were happy in there, but we understand it's an elevated regular season game, but it's just a regular season game. We got to get back to work. We got to get better. We need to be better on next Friday. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.